There's one question that would have stopped half the failed technology projects I've seen. One question, 11 words, and almost no one asks it. Council members approve $5 million, $10 million, $15 million, then 3 years later wonder why they have nothing to show for it. They'll blame the software vendors, they'll blame staff, but the failure happened the moment they approved a project without asking this question. And here's the question. What does success look like and how will we know we've achieved it? That's it. 11 words. Now watch what happens when you ask it. The bad answer is success is implementing a modern ERP that improves efficiency and better serves residents. That's not an answer. That's word salad. That's marketing. What's modern? Define efficiency. How much improvement? Serves residents how? You can't measure any of that. It means whatever you want it to mean after you've already spent the money. The good answer is success means 3 things. Monthly accounting close drops from 15 days to 5 days. Department heads get real-time budget visibility. No more waiting for reports. User satisfaction hits 90% within. We'll measure close time monthly, survey department heads quarterly, and run satisfaction surveys at 3, 6, and 12 months. Numbers, timelines, measurement methods. That's an answer. With the first response, there's no way to know if you succeeded or failed. You spent the money, you got a system. Everyone declares victory and moves on. With the second response, you can actually hold people accountable. Did close time hit 5 days? Yes or no? Is satisfaction at 90%? Yes or no? The question does something powerful. It forces commitment before money is spent. It makes vague promises concrete. It creates accountability that survives the project. Without it, you get projects that succeed because software got installed, even if nobody uses it, even if it costs double, even if it delivered 0 value. Here's a story of a county. Let me tell you the story of a county that approved a $7 million ERP system. The staff report was polished, talked about aging systems, operational risks, efficiency gains, listed benefits, streamlined financial operations, improved reporting, reduced manual processes, enhanced data accuracy, position for future growth. Council approved unanimously. It sounded great. 3 years later, the project was complete. The final cost was $11 million, 57% over budget. And the timeline went from 18 months to 36 months, double. And the user satisfaction, never measured. But complaint constant. Workarounds were everywhere. The monthly financial close they promised to streamline still took about the same time, maybe 1 day faster. Those improved reporting capabilities, staff was still exporting to Excel. They still needed IT to run reports. Nobody had learned the new reporting tools. Nobody had trained them. So here's the question. Was this project successful? The project team said yes. Systems live, replaced the old one. Check. The vendor said yes, delivered what the contract specified. Check. The IT director said yes, major modernization complete. Check. But did the county actually get value for $11 million? Nobody knows. Because nobody defined what value would look like. I sat down with the county administrator a year after go live, and I asked him directly, what were the success criteria? He pulled up the original staff report, searched through it, and finally said it didn't really say, did it? Benefits, yes, but nothing measurable. And then there was a long pause. We should have asked harder questions before we wrote the check. Here's the thing. That failure didn't happen during implementation. It happened the day council approved a $7 million project without asking what success would look like. Once you've done that, you're playing a game with no score. Money gets spent, systems get built, and afterward, everyone has the incentive to declare victory regardless of reality. Vendors want happy references. The vendors want happy references. IT wants to show they can deliver. Leadership wants to justify their decision. And nobody wants to admit 11 million bought something that doesn't work. So everyone agrees it was a success, even when it wasn't. The second story is from a different city. They had a different approach. They were replacing their permitting system. The development services director came to council with something unusual in her staff report, a section called success criteria. It listed 5 specific outcomes. 1. Reduce permit processing from 12 days to 3 days. 2. Increase online applications from 15% to 75%. 3. Hit 85% customer satisfaction. 4. Cut staff overtime by 50%. And 5. Enable real-time permit tracking, Eliminate status check phone calls. Numbers, baselines, targets, all in the staff report before the vote. She told me later, I was terrified to put those in writing. What if we missed? I'd be accountable. Her city manager's response was, if you can't commit to specific outcomes, you shouldn't be asking for the money. That changed her thinking. So throughout implementation, those 5 criteria became the filter for every decision. Feature trade-offs, does it affect our ability to hit the targets? If yes, protect it. If no, cut it. Timeline pressure, which criteria are at risk? Focus there. Scope creep, is this tied to the 5 success metrics? No, then it's not in scope. They went live at month 18, measured at month 22. Results? Processing time, 12 days down to 4. Missed the 3-day target, but it was close. Online applications, 15% to 82%, exceeded. Customer satisfaction, 88%, exceeded. Staff overtime, down 45%, slightly below target. Status tracking, fully implemented. Status calls drop 70%. And by the way, if you do all of this right, you can then adopt some AI technologies. If you want to learn more about how to do that right, click on this video. So 4 of 5 exceeded or nearly hit, 1 slightly below. Clear success. But here's what the clarity actually enabled. They could have a real conversation about the miss. Why 4 days instead of 3? They analyzed it. Certain permit types had complexity they'd underestimated. Was 4 acceptable? Should they invest more? Real discussion, real data. That's governance, not the project went well. Actual measurement, actual accountability. The project was celebrated, genuinely. Staff knew they'd delivered. Council knew the money was well spent. The vendor got a legitimate reference. And when the next technology project came forward, the staff report included success criteria because now it was expected. Now, let me give you the framework. 5 elements that make success criteria actually work. Element 1, outcomes, not outputs. This is the mistake everyone makes. Output is, I implemented a new ERP. That's a deliverable, something you do. And output is implementing a new ERP. Now, that's a deliverable. It's something you do. An outcome is reduce monthly close from 15 to 5 days. That's a result, something that changes. You can achieve every output and still fail. System implemented, but nobody uses it. Training completed, but no one learned. Go live achieved, but no value delivered. Outputs don't guarantee outcomes, and outcomes are the only thing that actually matters. Every success criterion should describe a result in the world, not an activity you completed. Element 2, specific and measurable. Vague is improve efficiency. Specific is reduce monthly close from 15 days to 5 days within 6 months of go live. The specific version has 4 components. 1, metric, monthly close time. Baseline is 15 days. This is where we are now, and you need to measure that. Target is 5 days, where we're going. When? Time frame, within 6 months of go live. Are you missing any of these? If you are, it's not measurable. You can't evaluate success. Improve customer satisfaction is meaningless. What's current satisfaction? What's the target? By when? So increasing satisfaction from 72% to 85% within 12 months, now you have something real. Element 3, limited number. 3 to 5 criteria, not 15. Too many and you lose focus. You won't track them all. They become a checklist nobody reads instead of an accountability mechanism. So pick the outcomes that matter the most, the ones that, if achieved, prove that the project delivered value. If you've got 15 criteria, you haven't prioritized. Force the question, which 3 to 5 actually matter? Element 4, it should be locked before approval. So not during implementation, not after go live, before the council votes. And here's why this matters. Once a project is underway, there's enormous pressure to move the goalposts. We're not going to hit 3 days. Let's redefine success as 5 days. That defeats the entire purpose. When council approves the project, they're approving specific success criteria. Those criteria are locked. If you're going to miss, that's a conversation, not a quiet redefinition. This creates accountability that survives the project. You can't claim success by changing the definition of success. Element 5 is measured and reported. Any criteria without measurement, they're fantasies. Build measurement into the project plan. Who collects the data? How often? What method? Where does it get reported? And after go live, report to council on criteria achievement. Here's how we performed against the targets we committed to. And if you hit your targets, celebrate with evidence. If you missed it, Explain. Explain why and what you're doing about it. Either way, close the loop. And that's governance. If you want to learn more about technology governance, click on this video. So how do you use this framework? If you're on council, before any vote on technology over $1 million, you need to ask, what does success look like and how will we know? Any vague answer, send them back. Come back when you can give me specific, measurable outcomes. You're not being difficult, you're doing your job. You're being asked to approve public money. You have the right, the obligation, to know what the money is supposed to achieve. During project updates, stop accepting on schedule, on budget, green, yellow, red. Ask, how are we tracking against the success criteria? That should be in every update. So when the project ends, you should require a final report on criteria achievement, not a go-live celebration, an honest assessment of outcomes. If your staff includes success criteria before anyone asks, put them in the staff report. Show you've thought rigorously about what you're trying to achieve. It creates accountability for you, but that's the point. And when you hit your targets, you'll have proof, not just assertions. So next time a tech project lands on your desk, whether you're approving it or proposing it, ask the question, what does success look like and how will we know that we've achieved it? If you can't answer it clearly, you're not ready to spend the money. Tell me in the comments, what's the worst example of undefined success you've seen? Or the best example of clear criteria that actually drove accountability? Thank you for watching. One question, 11 words, the difference between governance and hope. If you want to understand what drives tech projects over budget in the first place, watch this video.